Hello, everyone. Welcome to God's Secret. I'm on Vita Jane, and I'll be talking about who I am, why I'm starting this channel, who this channel is for, what you guys can expect. So let's dive in. As I mentioned, I'm on Vita Jane. I am a transition coach who is absolutely gaga about walking with impact-driven visionaries in making their visions come true as CEO of a soul line business, and so much more. I believe that aliveness sits at the intersection of service and passion. Growing up, I was taught to prioritize other people's needs before mine. So naturally, when I went to come up with a career path that worked for me, I went, how can I help people and how can I make money? Because obviously, we can't ignore the reality of needing financial stability to survive in this world. And passion came much, much later because growing up, I always had to earn passion. It wasn't like taught as like something that was equally valuable as helping others or really fundamental to my liveness and my life force and having the energy to do what I want. So I went through like four career avatars in my 20s trying to find like the path for me. And lo and behold, like nothing was quite clicking. Like everything was getting closer, but I just like wasn't satisfied with just having almost aligned. That wasn't going to do it for me. My heart was not going to sit in peace. And it was going to keep whispering to me like there's something more until I followed it. And so my career path before becoming a coach was human resources. And I had, quite frankly, a very cushy HR job that afforded me great stability, allowed me to do a lot of the things I wanted to, and I was quite happy with it until, like I mentioned, my heart started whispering about something more, something more. So in 2021, I quit with no idea what I was going to do next. And I went into deep self-inquiry. I finally had the space in my days that I, quite frankly, had probably been craving since college. And there were a lot of feelings. There were a lot of feelings because, I was privileged enough at that point to have past survival means, right, on the surface. But I was still living in survival mode. And I realized that thriving in life, so living past survival, doesn't just happen from building the resources or the outside stability. And it was time to feel my feelings. It was time to face all these parts of myself that I had brushed under the rug, right? How many cultures teach us to just brush things under the rug? So, of course, I'd done that, right? And suddenly it was quiet, and suddenly I didn't have ambition or chasing the next thing or the next dopamine hit to distract me. And in that, the most beautiful thing was born, which is my transition coaching business. And it turned out there was a path for me that allowed me to help people deeply and enjoy life at wild levels. Like, I remember one question that I got so annoyed with was, what would you do if you had to do it for free? And I'm like, what do you mean do it for free? Like, I can't just move through life for free, unfortunately. And until I started coaching, and I realized that coaching itself, like the process of, helping someone in a coaching session literally gives me life. Like it energizes my batteries in and of itself. And I'm not going to say that like I'd be able to do it sustainably forever for free. That's not reality. But it was the thing, and it changed my belief system. It changed what I thought was possible. And so I started this channel, God's Secret, as a part of this path because I think a lot of people can relate. Like 2025 was the year of shedding, right? The year of the snake. And I have felt that I have lived multiple lifetimes in 2025. And I kept feeling like something true wants to be spoken, something truer, honest, and also settling, kind of like a cozy place that people can settle into, but also be activated by. And, think about explore new beliefs and explore new perspectives. That's why I created this channel. That's what this channel is for. And so let me kind of dive in, like, why God's Secret? This name has been sitting in my aura for like 6 months, and it's really been like cultivating energetically. And I'm so happy to bring it into form with this episode and many more to come. And so, God's secret to me means first and foremost, like honoring inner wisdom. Um, as this awesome astrologer, Britton LaRue, go check her out on Instagram if you're looking for a different perspective on astrology. But she, in one of her sessions, was talking about this divorce that's happened between physics and metaphysics, and this like villainization of knowing that happens like internally, and this overemphasis on like external, right? Like if something is only true if it's like externally proven or externally justified. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with external data, because there isn't. But you're missing this big piece. And I always, like, a lot of my journey to truth has been listening to the inner wisdom without having to justify it or prove it and just trusting it. There's been so many times in my life where my intuition would tell me something, and I would wait, like I'm not going to quite believe it until the physical evidence is there. And then months later, my physical life or the form, everything outside myself confirms what I knew months ago. And so it was like, just it felt like when it was really draining, it was honestly like shutting down a big part of me. And so in this space, like, we honor inner wisdom because that's a huge part of the equation. And I didn't have a felt sense. Like, for me, the secret to true aliveness has been my faith. It hasn't been any of the stability I've built outside. It hasn't been any of my achievements. It hasn't even been just my community. It's been my faith. And again, none of those things are wrong. They're all a core part of my life. But my faith has been the driving force. It's like the heartbeat, and I call it the secret, not so secret, to aliveness. And so that's what this space is designed to honor, first and foremost, is exploring faith and belief on my own terms. Like, I will be honest, I take a pluralistic approach to my faith. And so that's what's going to be encouraged in this space is, like, again, people following their own paths and their own truth and whatever that looks like. Um, and I remember seeing this quote that summarizes it so well. It's like the two people you should be the most concerned about making proud are the 8-year-old version of you and the 80-year-old version of you. And that centers truth. It centers your perspective. It centers you as a primary witness. And those are the vibes of this space. So who is this channel for? I mean, really, anyone's welcome here. We'll take everyone. But this will really resonate with those who believe in something bigger than themselves, right? They feel this sense of like dissatisfaction with surface level faith, surface level personal development, and surface level spiritual advice. Like, that's just not doing it anymore. You're looking for more depth, more richness in life. And you maybe gotten to a point where you realize like success in its traditional definition isn't really the only point of life. And you want a path that you also feel like excited about devoting to, and you feel that you might be called to something greater than what you're doing now, and with more impact, more service, and a deeper sense of purpose. And you're kind of over outsourcing your decision making or your authority to teachers, systems, timelines that just don't work for you. And In some ways, maybe you've always felt called to a different path than you see those around you following, and that's okay. That's what this space is for. Like, there is no right path here, there's just a right path for you. And that can change every day, and that's okay. And you're kind of over survival mode. Like, you are ready for a path that is just more, or a life that's just more than just getting by or getting through the day. And you want to cultivate a life that you're like, damn, I'm so blessed. That's who this channel is for. And what you can expect, ooh, a whole smorgasbord of things. One, like I said, honoring inner wisdom, right? As a lived skill that you can learn to trust in real time because it is a skill you can build that can really elevate and enrich your life. Live truth, right? Like real life experiences, insights that land in the body. We include the body in this conversation and not just at the mind level or at the word level, right? We're talking about deep lived truth. A direct and intimate relationship with faith, source, or just life itself, right? Even if you don't believe in a specific doctrine or a specific model, life itself, right? Treating it as a partnership and a dynamic collaboration, right? Something like your best friend or but so much deeper. Conversations that invite new perspectives, challenge your current beliefs, and catalyze your choice and move you into action for whatever that truth looks like for you. And just giving yourself permission to want more without guilt or justification. Like you can just want more because it's your life. You can want more ease. You can want more joy. You can want more impact, even more beauty. A little heart wrapped in humor and sass because it wouldn't be my channel without that. So welcome. And devotion doesn't always have to be dull or super serious or include self-denial. Like we get to bring all the parts of our personality here because that's what life is for. Electric collaborations, coaches, mentors, healers, friends that I deeply respect, appreciate, and care for to bring new perspectives to the table to maybe you'll see someone challenge my perspective in real time, right? We are going to make it dynamic and juicy and electric. And finally, like cross-pollination between different lanes of life. Faith, business, friendships, dating, they all weave together. So that's what the space is going to reflect. And finally, so like if you're on this path or you want to be on this path, you are welcome here. This is your space. We walk together present, honest, enjoying life because otherwise, what's the point? So, if you're listening back, I'd love to hear what landed, what made you go, oh, that's me. What topics would excite you? Like, what are you really wishing someone would chat about? Drop it in the comments and hit the subscribe button for more episodes. I'm looking so forward to being with y'all.